If you do not grant me what I ask for, your secret will no longer be safe. I will tell the whole village about who you really are. In the old Yoruba kingdom of Oyo, where the drum spoke in rhythms and the rivers whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a young woman named Adizwa. She was known throughout the land for her beauty, intelligence, and the grace with which she carried herself. Many men sought her hand in marriage, but fate had already carved a path for her that she dared not defy. Adizwa was the only daughter of Baligan Aind, a great warrior in the king's court. Tradition demanded that she marry a man of her father's choosing. Her mother, Ayebo, often reminded her that a woman's place was beside her husband, raising children and ensuring the continuity of the lineage. But deep within Adizwa's heart, she harbored a secret, a truth she could not voice, not even to the spirits of her ancestors. Adizwa was gay. For as long as she could remember, Adizwa had never felt the stirrings of desire for any man. Instead, her heart raced when she was near Olufunk, the daughter of the royal sculptor. They had grown up together, playing by the riverbanks, weaving each other's hair, and sharing whispers under the full moon. Their bond was deeper than friendship, but in a land where tradition ruled, such feelings had no place. When Adizwa turned 18, her father arranged her marriage to Akintond, a wealthy merchant whose family had strong ties with the royal household. The marriage was to be grand, with feasting that would last for days. Adizwa dared not protest, for to do so would dishonor her family. On the night before her wedding, she met Olufunk one last time beneath the ancient baobab tree. They held each other close, their unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. "I will always love you," Adizwa whispered. "As will I," Olufunk replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "But promise me, no matter what, you will never lose yourself." Adizwa nodded, though her heart ached with the weight of their farewell. The wedding was a spectacle of colors and song, but Adizwa felt like a bird trapped in a gilded cage. Akinton was kind and gentle, but he could never awaken the fire that Olufunk had kindled within her. She played the role of the dutiful wife, yet each night, when her husband slept, she would stare at the moon, wondering if Olufunk did the same. Months passed, and whispers began to spread that Adizwa had not yet conceived. Pressure mounted from her in-laws, and her mother began bringing herbalists to aid her fertility. But how could she conceive when her heart and soul longed for another? The weight of expectation pressed heavily upon her, and soon she found herself retreating into silence. She began playing her role as a wife. Each time her husband touched her, she would imagine herself sleeping with a woman so until her husband is done sleeping with her. This continued until she gave birth to 3 children. Adizwa bore 3 children for Akintond, fulfilling her duties as a wife and mother. Yet, with every intimate moment she shared with her husband, her thoughts would drift elsewhere, to stolen moments with a woman, to the warmth and passion that only they could share. She did what was expected of her, but her heart remained bound to a world forbidden to her. As the years passed, Adizwa became skilled at deception. She found comfort in the women who worked in her household, forming fleeting attachments to the maids she hired. Under the guise of generosity, she would sneak into their chambers late at night, offering them gifts and money in exchange for their silence. Many succumbed to her charm, filling the void that had grown within her. But pleasure often comes with consequences, and her actions would soon catch up with her. One day, she hired a new maid named Monarchy, a sharp and observant woman. Unlike the others, Monarchy was cunning and knew the value of a secret. She accepted Adizwa's advances but kept evidence of their encounters, waiting for the right moment to strike. At the same time, Akintond, frustrated by his wife's emotional distance after the coming of their 3rd child, found solace in the same housemaid. He, too, fell into Monarch's trap, believing her to be just another woman willing to serve. Unknown to him, Monarchy was already plotting, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables on both husband and wife. One fateful evening, Monarchy approached Adizwa with a chilling ultimatum. "My lady," she whispered, "if you do not grant me what I ask, your secret will no longer be safe." Adizwa's heart pounded. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Money, power, and my own place outside this house," Monarchy replied smugly. "Give me these things, and I will remain silent." Adizwa had no choice but to comply. She began funneling money to Monarchy, giving her gifts more extravagant than before. But Monarch's greed knew no bounds. She soon turned to Akinton with the same demands. Shocked, he, too, found himself at her mercy, forced to buy her silence lest his infidelity be exposed. Monarch's influence grew, and she became bolder. She flaunted her power over the household, making unreasonable demands and treating the other servants with disdain. She knew she had trapped both master and mistress in her web, and she relished it. But greed has a way of consuming itself. One night, in a fit of arrogance, Monarchy demanded more than either of them could give. Enraged, Akinton set a trap, planting false evidence of Monarch's supposed crimes and alerting the authorities. She was swiftly accused of theft and treachery, and the palace guards took her away. As she was dragged from the compound, Monarchy spat venomous words at both of them. "You think you have won, but your secrets will never stay buried." Adizwa and Akinton, though freed from their tormentor, knew she was right. Their lives had been forever altered, their marriage a fragile facade. They lived with the shadows of their choices, forever looking over their shoulders, fearing the day when their past sins would resurface. As time passed, Adizwa and Akinton's relationship grew colder. Though they shared a house, they lived as strangers. The weight of their choices had driven a wedge between them, one that could never be repaired. Their children, unaware of the secrets that bound their parents in silent misery, grew up in a home filled with unspoken tension. Adizwa, now older, found herself haunted by memories. She often thought of Olufunk, wondering if she had found happiness, if she still looked at the moon and thought of her. She had played her role well, wife, mother, lady of the house, but at what cost? One evening, as she stood by the window watching the moon rise, her daughter, Abani, approached her. "Mother," Abani asked, "do you ever feel like you were meant to live another life?" Adizwa turned to her daughter, startled by the question. She saw in Abani's eyes the same longing she had once felt. But she could not tell her the truth. Instead, she forced a smile and replied, "We all walk the path the gods have chosen for us." But deep inside, she knew the truth: the gods had not chosen her path. Society had. And she had spent a lifetime paying the price. Here are some life lessons from this story. The weight of secrets: living a double life can lead to inevitable downfall. No matter how well one hides, the truth has a way of emerging, often with dire consequences. Greed corrupts the soul. Monarch's story teaches us that excessive greed can lead to self-destruction. When people demand more than their fair share, they risk losing everything. Love and duty are often in conflict. Adizwa's life was shaped by societal expectations, forcing her into a role she never wanted. The story highlights the pain of suppressing one's true self to conform to tradition.